Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is a gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie gaming, organic content, and player agency to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I'm your host, Carl, and tonight we're going to be playing Alone Against the Dark, a solo adventure for Call of Cthulhu, published by Chaosium. Two quick announcements. Symphony Entertainment has a Patreon. If you like this content and would like to help us create more, please back the Symphony on Patreon. You can check that out at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Also, we are offering a giveaway during this stream. To win a free hardcover copy of Alone Against the Dark, enter !dark into the chat. You have to be a subscriber to the channel to win, and we're only able to ship to the continental US, but we will host a giveaway at the end of the stream. Stay until the end, or if you can't, Bridgett will try and reach out to you via Twitch. Now, without further ado, let's unveil the cast. Oh, that's me. Hi, everyone. I'm Carl. I am mostly helping out here around on the Symphony. Most of my online content lives here, but I generally spend a lot of time helping out making digital assets for Symphony and helping out with some of the logistics on the back end. Tonight, I am going to be playing the role of Dr. Louis Grunwald, who has received a mysterious letter from an old friend of his, a Professor Guerre. Apparently, Professor Guerre has been, take bets on me. And then make me make terrible decisions. Professor Guerre has been arrested and has been detained in Athens. Dr. Grunwald, leaving the safety of Arkham, Massachusetts, and taking a long steamer ride over to Athens, has landed in the city. This particular Alone Against is a very interesting setup. You actually have several different investigators who are involved. And it seems like you can play it over a very long period of time. So this one seems really cool. I'm hoping we're going to get into some shenanigans right away. But if you wanted to play this on your own at home, if your first investigator goes down for the count, you can make your second one and keep going because they actually talk to each other and leave messages for one another. It's a really cool setup. So, having landed in Athens, I need to find a way to get to the Hall of Justice. Outside of the shipyard, I see three drivers standing near their cabs. One is young, another is an old man, and the third is nattily dressed. Which will I hire? If I can successfully make a psychology or spot hidden roll, then go to 15 first. I'm going to try psychology. All right, I made a psychology roll. Nobody goes near the well-dressed driver. Perhaps there's something odd about that. The old fellow looks shaky but serene, while the young driver looks friendly but perhaps overly brash. All right, so who should I approach to be my driver? The young driver, the old driver, or the well-dressed driver? The guy I just figured out looks shifty, huh? All right, well. Okay. All right, well, you animals get what you want. All right. Well, that's right. May I be of assistance? The man asks. I too was once a stranger in this sacred land. My temporary employment allows me to stay here while I work on my book. Where can I take you? His name is apparently Richard Hawks. He will take you wherever you'd like to go, all the while chatting amiably about the splendors of Greece. He hints that he knows something you may wish to know and tells you to meet him at 6 p.m. at the Piostos Cafe. All right. So he will take us to the Bureau of Investigation. You quickly locate the office of the investigator in charge of Gillier's case, a Corporal Ilionis. After a few pleasantries, his words stun you. Sir, I regret to inform you that Professor Tibor Gillier is dead by his own hand. He has hanged himself. Perhaps he was ashamed of his theft of the Carpathos device from the museum. We do not yet know, but yes, a suicide, a terrible and sad end. Your mind reels. You have come all this way to no purpose. You cannot believe that Gillier would end his own life, even though his career was in jeopardy. Is Ilionis positive? You suspect foul play. No, none that is reported. The pathologist found signs of self-mutilation, common enough with suicides. Uh, oh, the doctor is vacationing in Switzerland. He will not be back for several weeks. The corporal considers for a moment. You could see Gillier's cell, I suppose, unless someone new has been moved in. He was held at the Hall of Justice. If you can make a successful persuade or charm roll, Ilionis allows you to use his name at the Hall of Justice. If you want more information from him, let's see. Okay. So if you want more information from him, go to 204. And if you ask about getting a Greek interpreter, go to 170. Interesting note, I made this character in a vacuum beforehand. He does not speak Greek, so that's a bit of a misstep. um, so an interpreter for future adventures may be worth considering. Um, let's see. So, do we want to press him for more information or ask him about getting an interpreter? All right. I'm going to press him for more info. 204. You asked to see Ilionis's report. It says that Gillier refused to talk freely, but that he made libelous statements about museum director Stratos. Apologies for anyone who's watching who is Greek if I butchered that. And that he pleaded that the Carpathos device not be sent to Cairo. It also notes that Gillier demanded protection even when he was in his cell. Go to 40. But yes, very strange. Professor Gillier first stealing that device, then taking his own life. I wish I could tell you more. The Carpathos device is mysterious. No one knows its true nature. Perhaps the scholars at the National Museum can tell you about it. If you can. Oh, if only there was a waterboard option. Uh, that got his ass. um, if I can make a successful interroll, yep, that is a successful interroll. Go to 21. And the Carpathos device, was it returned to the museum? Oh, I'm sorry, that was me. Und the Carpathos device, you ask, was it returned to the museum? Oh, no, it was scheduled to be sent to the National Museum in Cairo for a special exhibit. The device may be Egyptian, you see, but the plans were not changed. All right, 204. Okay, I'm going to try and succeed at a psychology. No. Fail, and you can leave and hail a cab. At 131. To do 8 drivers. All right, so apparently I go to hail another cab. Apologies. Oop, I have lost my place. Side note, don't lose your place in these PDFs. All right, so they will take us through any Athens location. So far, we've got the Hall of Justice that we can go to. And we can go to the National Museum of Archaeology. Once we've gone to those two, then we can meet the well-dressed gentleman who gave me a ride earlier in the Pisotos Cafe for dinner, which sounds lovely. I'm sure it's a wonderful place. So museum or Hall of Justice? All right, we got one vote for Hall of Justice, one vote for museum. Get yourself cleared from prison. Well, Grunwald didn't do anything wrong. Museum. Okay, so we'll go to the museum first. The National Museum of Archaeology. You see the fabulous treasures of ancient Greece, and you also find the stand where the Carpathos device, replaced at the moment by a drawing and a photograph, is normally kept. Go to 168 for more information on the device. The archaeological team at the National Museum in Athens have reported on the Carpathos device, noting the inexplicable markings on its surface and the complex network of gears and linkages. The team has established that the device is at least 2,000 years old, though some suggest that it may hold a more ancient date. The report implies an ancient level of technical achievement previously undreamt of by scholars. Cryptic Greek inscriptions were found on the outside edges of some gears, and some interior sections were marked with unusual Egyptian hieroglyphs. The team makes no guesses about the function of the device. Okay. The notes speculate that the Carpathos device is some kind of astronomical clock designed to aid priests. Other scholars feel that it may have been designed to actually create something material. Still others see it as merely an elaborate amusement for some wealthy noble or merchant. The origin of the device is not uncertain, nor has the substance of which it was made from been determined. Make a luck roll. Oy. Can you spend luck on a luck roll? Is that a thing? Because it nerds. Okay. Hmm. All right. Sorry, lost my place again. I mean, it's not an unreasonable question. You're still burning it. Can you tell I started playing games other than Call of Cthulhu in my career? All right. 18. Sorry, lost my place again. Apologies. All right. Failed. Go to 118. To look around the museum, go to 176. We just did that. We can try and see Pistriatos, the museum director, or we can go to the Hall of Justice. I'm leaning towards trying to talk to the museum director. I feel like that's fun. Okay, 153. A young secretary guards the door to the museum director's office. She informs you in careful, polite English that Mr. Pistriato's schedule is full. If you'd like to push your case, arguing with the secretary in the hopes of seeing him, go to 34. All right, I'm going to push the case because why not? I'm a professor. This is what I do. I argue with attendants and secretaries. Waterboarder. It's like a kindly old German man. Despite your best efforts, she will not change her mind and sends you away. Okay, well, that's disappointing. uh, gonna continue to explore. All right. Well, seems like that is a little bit of a dead end for now. So to the Hall of Justice. Do do do. Justice. Whew. 87. Okay. The Hall of Justice and King's Court of Appeals are open from 9 a.m. to noon and from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's very specific. Um, if you speak no Greek, but you have an English or Greek, okay. If you must find someone who speaks English and Greek, which I have to do because I don't speak Greek, um, roll D3 for the number of hours it takes to find someone and go to here. Oh man, it takes me 3 hours meandering throughout the city. Yeah, apparently. All right. 77. Your interpreter tells you Gillier hung himself. He killed himself. His body has been shipped to the United States. Apparently, the professor left nothing behind to be recovered. If you can make a successful psychology roll, go to 180. Oh, okay. I have 50 points of luck. Do I spend 15 of them to make this psychology roll? Waterboard the luck. All right, I'm burning the 15 points of luck down to 35. This may or may not bite me in the ass later. Go to 180. The man appears afraid. Pressing him further, he admits his fear. I don't think Gillier killed himself. Someone wanted him dead. I don't know. It had to do with the Carpathos device. Gillier kept saying that it must not go to Egypt. Make a persuade roll. Yes. If successful, go to 202. He hesitates. Yes, he says, Gillier was hanged, but his body and face were strangely disfigured. Huge welts ran down the length of the professor's body until, to Ilionis's eyes, he looked like he'd been long dead before his neck was stretched. Ooh, grody. As you leave, the sergeant seems to remember something. He pulls a letter out of a drawer and gestures that you may read it. 529. The sergeant hands you a piece of paper. Unfolding it, you recognize Gillier's tiny, precise script. There's no date and no signature, but it is addressed to you. Dr. Lewis Grinwald, Miskatonic University, Arkham, Massachusetts, USA. Dear Lewis, I fear it is too late for me. Though with the best of motives, the authorities foolishly apprehended me before I could accomplish destroying the Carpathos device. They have and thereby re-endangered the world. If to prevent my further interference, the cult of a 10 tries to murder me while I am trapped in the cell, I do not see how they can fail at their purpose. This letter, therefore, must convince you of the truth I tell, and relate to you what must be done about it. You must do it or see that it is done, else our world is doomed. Though our discussions have acquainted you with some of what I now write, you have never accepted my arcane conclusions. I beg of you now to do so, for at least the length of this letter. What follows is the situation as I understand it. An Alexandrian era sorcerer, one Ephagon of Carpathos, was reputed to have constructed a mechanism perfectly replicating the movement of the spheres. According to certain fragmentary evidences, this device was to be sent to Egypt to agents of the notorious cult of Aten. This record is dim. Perhaps it was designed in Egypt and built in Carpathos, but I digress. Once installed in Egypt, the mechanism could be used in a great ceremony, presaging the end of the world. It would somehow align the forces of nature with the metaphysical powers of an unnamed evil god. The product of the ceremony would be another device, this one very simple, a crystal octahedron, which could be spun like a child's top. This is the top of Aten. A thing of as great magical power as the device was produced it was a wonder of natural science. By bringing the top of Aten farthest south to the last city of the oldest beings, and then summoning their god, the cult intended to use their cosmic gyro to alter the rotational axis of the Earth, thereby bringing a strange land, surely Antarctica, in parentheses, once more to life. In the process, the annoying lands of the stick folk, literally the lands of men, would be destroyed. But the ship carrying the device to Egypt was lost in a great storm, and then Ephagon died, and the ceremony never begun. You'll recall the mysterious surrounding the Miskatonic expedition in Antarctica and its tragic outcome. And you know that the Starkweather Moor expedition leaves Bremen this winter to return to Antarctica and reopen the terrible questions which Lake first raised. But have you heard of the Carpathos device, the strange instrument recovered near the island of Carpathos? After examining it, I knew that this must be Ephagon's device. Lewis, it is my firm conviction. Oh, this is a very long ass letter. Excuse me. I was trying to get through it. It's almost done. Oh, Jesus. Lewis, it is my firm conviction that this tale is true, that a great scheme to change the world has been reactivated by the cult of Aten. Perhaps they employed great magic to manipulate destiny, or perhaps they are exceedingly cunning and evaluate every event for what they may gain of it. But their error has come round again. Others also believe this. An erudite and cruel man named Stanford has lent me subtle aid, but says that for arcane reasons, he may do no more. He is not a friend, but says that this thing he serves is God. A kinder, gentle Greek gentleman has also helped. Both seem to represent greater powers than man, but perhaps that is beyond our ken. But the cult of Aten is strong. At least one of them is no man at all, but a ... Here the letter ends. There is no second sheet. There is nothing on the reverse of the sheet. As you struggle to digest and evaluate the letter, the guard casually informs you that nothing else of Gilliers is now at the prison. Go to any Athens location. Oh, that was a fun, dramatic reading. Okay. We have the cafe we could go to. There's also the Parthenon, and there's a lot of letter. It's probably easier if you're just reading it alone, but dramatic reading was good. So we have the cafe to go to. And after reading that letter, I'm sure it took him several hours to get through. As you enter the cafe, the thick, acrid tobacco smoke chokes you. The place is filled with laughing, gesticulating dock workers and sailors. If you're here expecting to meet someone, go to 35. The man is Richard Hawks. He greets you warmly. An ouzo and some talk, he suggests. Look, I know you're investigating Gillier's death. I spoke with him once or twice. That's a little bit suspect. His death caused quite a stir. Well, to make a long story short, I have some interesting information concerning his crazy theft. I don't have it here, but if you'd like to come back to my apartment, I can show it to you. Okay. So do we say yes or no? We're saying yes. Yeah. All right, we're saying yes. Go to 79. This small apartment is cluttered with books and filled with rich aromas. It is the room of a scholar. Attempt knowledge, education, Cthulhu mythos, occult, spot hidden, and listen rolls. Write down the success or failure of each and then go to 112. Holy shit. Okay. Hang on. Knowledge, education, pass. Cthulhu mythos, uh, fail. Occult, fail, but if we're willing to spend 7 points of luck, we can turn it into a success. Do we spend the luck? I think. 50-50. No, we don't spend. Oh, okay. We do spend the luck. Cool. 28. That's that. Spot hidden. Go. Jesus. Okay. No, that's failed by more luck than I have to spend. And listen. That's also, wow, that's a real bad roll. Okay. If any of your rolls were successful, read the appropriate entry below. If all your rolls failed, go straight to the paragraph and the bullet points. Okay. No. Cthulhu mythos or occult roll. I did pass the occult roll. You'll realize that Hawks's library is stocked with a strange assortment of titles. Marvels of the Spirit World, Crowley's Incantations, Weinberger's Diamond. Add 10 percentiles to your int roll for the rest of this entry only. I failed listen and spot hidden. Make an int roll, adding any bonuses for this entry. Okay. So like I'm not very well versed in Call of Cthulhu, but like a 99 is real bad, right? Like real bad. And just for proof in the pudding. Okay. All right. If you fail the dodge or the intro from behind the curtain, a hand suddenly reaches out for you. And you feel heavy breathing on the back of your neck. The heavy breather grabs you and shoves you into the chair. The one with, you're realizing now, odd grooves and notches, and you hear the sharp sound of releasing mechanisms as metal bands wrap around your arms and leg, holding you tight to the chair. There's nothing you can do. How foolish you were to have trusted a strange man you'd only just met. Now the heavy breather steps around so you can see him clearly. You see a dry, leathery skin, portions of which flake away as he moves. The eyes are a deep, sickly yellow, hollow, and inhuman. Hawkins sniggers under his breath and introduces you to Ahmed, who Ox said is nearly 3,000 years old and who is very, very hungry. You are wild-eyed, and the sounds of Hawk's maniacal laughter screams in your ears. The thing's mouth opens slowly, and he leans towards your helpless body. You see his teeth are long, yellow, and very, very sharp. Your screams fill the room, but no one comes to save you. It is the end. Jesus, that went real south real quick. Okay. Um, So I would encourage everybody to maybe get a copy of this and see if you could do better than I did, which probably wouldn't be hard. Um, but that, Friends of the Symphony, is where our show is going to end for the night. Thank you so much for everybody who joined in and who is currently watching the replay. You are indeed the best part of waking up. We sincerely appreciate all of you. Now, let's host this giveaway. Yes, I did get a haircut. To the chat. All right, congratulations, Doc. Doc Bones 412 has won a copy of Alone Against the Dark. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please consider helping the Symphony make more by backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We hope you enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful evening.